you should actually check out the LPL. We have 5 different arenas. We're continually expanding. We're going to have up to 20 teams. 2 different conferences, if you will, and then traveling circuit arenas where you go to, Beijing or Chongqing or Hangzhou, Shanghai, and the Shanghai arena, of course, is our home base. So I think it just showcases that eventually, I think this is what esports should look like everywhere.
Hey everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller. I'm joined here by Froskurrin, the end boss when it comes to fashion of the LPL.
Yeah, tell Raz to step his game up.
Yeah, I did, kind of. Well, he has already stepped his game up massively. Shout out to him. Well, how has MSI been for you so far?
Phenomenal. I've been in China for last better of 6 months, so finally get to kind of take a mini vacation, if you will, from work and come over to Berlin and then later on into Paris. So I'm really excited to be here, actually.
What is your secret to being such a prediction goddess?
To be fair, it was really on RNG. I will say that I did really go out of my way. So there's an advantage that when the LPL plays like 300 games, that then when you go into an international tournament and you need to make preparation of everywhere else, you kind of have the leverage that you've gotten the largest region out of the way. And so looking at best of ones in NA and EU, I'm like, I'll watch all the VODs. So that's literally what I did. I've watched every single TL and Fnatic game from their regular split all the way through playoffs, and I just felt that I had a good read on the teams and comparing them a lot to like the LPL teams.
Okay. That's fair. That said, usually when it comes to international tournaments, you kind of say, hey, you guys not watching LPL, please don't rate LPL teams. Now, interestingly enough, usually LPL gets underrated because people that don't watch LPL don't get it, But in this case, we see weaknesses from RNG, and you placing them fourth. What is kind of going wrong with them?
To be frank, it really shouldn't have been RNG to even be here. It was actually a massive upset and a very big surprise. RNG had to run the complete gauntlet through Team WE, Snake Esports, as well as Invictus Gaming. And for 99% of the LPL, we were saying this is going to be Invictus Gaming versus Rogue Warriors. And again, for the EDG RNG final, if you're not watching the LPL and you tune in, you're like, of course it's EDG RNG. Like, who else would it be? But it was a huge surprise, almost like fate had to align for those teams to get there. And, credit where credit is due. RNG played really well. They got here. But for the majority of the LPL, they were the 4th best team in the LPL. And so while they showed up in that gauntlet, I didn't have super high expectations for them to come into MSI and completely dominate the tournament, despite the fact that Uzi is playing on the top of his form.
Very much respectable for sure. The Invictus series that I watched was interesting. It was some beautiful LPL magic right there.
The LPL, it takes it's different. And it's interesting too, like a perfect example is there was actually a discussion on the analyst desk between Deficio and I in MSI Tonight where we were talking about, Ornn taking Ignite, and from his perspective, if you take the Ignite as the Ornn, you want to play aggressive and you want to kill, and that's absolutely true. But in the LPL, I've been taught by our top laners that they also take it in a defensive matchup. And so the thing is that the blueprints or the fingerprints of our regions do leave an impact on how we as analysts view the game and how the Eastern regions not only view the game and play the game, but also talk about the game is vastly different from the Western regions. And so a lot of the time, I think my analysis can seem quite weird or very jarring or kind of in a very different perspective than some of my Western peers. And I think it is just, the fact that we are isolated over there. The people that I get to talk to and bounce and soundboard ideas are, LPL analysts, and how the game is played over there is very, very different.
That said, LPL has obviously been into franchising for a little while now. There's a huge Mercedes-Benz arena, hugely sponsored and everything. Lots of stuff going on. What do you make of all these steps, and how has it related to the strengths of the region so far?
The future of esports is in China. And if you want to see what it is capable of esports to look like in, a year's time, you should actually check out the LPL. We have 5 different arenas. We're continually expanding. We're going to have up to 20 teams. 2 different conferences, if you will, and then traveling circuit arenas where you go to, Beijing or Chongqing or Hangzhou, Shanghai, and the Shanghai arena, of course, is our home base. So I think it just showcases that eventually, I think this is what esports should look like everywhere. It's much closer to what we think about when we think about traditional sports like the NBA.
Yeah. That said, isn't it like, I mean, that's kind of your job, but as a Westerner, it always feels a bit distant when you look at the LPL. You know, the players seem a bit different. You know, it's there's language barriers and stuff like that. And of course, when you look at Worlds, okay, usually it's Korea that's dominating. So if I'm in my free time and NA is already done, I tune into Korea to watch the best team. Yep. How do you make the LPL more appealing, and how have you succeeded in that so far?
So this is kind of a multi-pronged question, a multi-pronged issue. And of course, we are actively trying to tackle this. One of the big reasons why we took a team from Sydney and moved it over into Shanghai is because we wanted to eliminate that barrier between the Western fans and the LPL. We felt the same way. You know, they don't really know who these players are. They don't mean so much to them. We want to get English fans to latch on to them. But then it's also, okay, now that we're here, now that we've rebuilt the LPL English product, and I do think that it looks better than it ever did before, you know, being in that incredible venue, having access to things like an Uzi and a rookie interview specifically for English fans, that's the next thing that we want to target to draw in English fans. We don't just want to... The palette for Western fans versus Eastern fans is very, very different. And we want to make content for English viewers, storylines, players, things that they care about. But we also are the smallest team with the smallest amount of resources. So we definitely have to punch above our weight when they're so used to the product that the EULCS and the NALCS have been given them. So we're trying our best, but you know, it was our first split. We're still ramping up to it. And I think just given more time, we understand everyone's concerns, and we want to make the LPL more accessible, and that does start with saturating the market more with content that is specifically tailored and made for them.
Awesome. Is there anything you would like to say to the fans out there or to the potential LPL watchers out there?
If you want to watch the LPL, the number one reason is that it's not boring. I feel like so many people have this perspective that, you know, League of Legends is boring when it's played slow and it's macro and there's no kills. If you want to see the superstars of League of Legends, the best player in the world, the best mechanical talent possible, that is why you watch the LPL. It is never a boring night. Yeah, we can have some crazy fucking fiestas, but it is so cool to watch the highest level of mechanical skill.
It is definitely the experience I've had so far as well, so definitely make sure to check in the LPL sometime soon. This was, of course, Froskurrin and Darius from the Shotcaller. Hope you had a good day. See you then. Hey everyone, hope you just enjoyed that MSI interview. We would very much appreciate your support, so please make sure to leave a like and a comment down below, subscribe over here, and watch some more of our content here, and make sure to check out the shotcaller.net for more NA, EU, and other regional content. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.